Services for the Shorewood School District. And Nick Phelan is our new, brand new rec supervisor. Fuller than your life. So, Nick's in charge of sports and youth programming, and that's why he's kind of tagging along to get a feel for all his summer programs that he's going to inherit very quickly. But what I'd like to do is talk about the summer bulletin and talk about what programs and offerings we have for youth all the way through adults. But did everybody get their bulletin in the mail? I'm always like to take that survey, because if you don't, we kind of track, because your postman delivers it. And we know that there's some places in Shorewood that for this type of bulk mailing, they don't necessarily get those. So it's always nice to find out those little hot spots in Shorewood. But our registration has started, and we are extremely excited about the bulletin this summer. As many of you may know, Shorewood added a summer school enrichment program last year. It was tiny and kind of got lost in the bulletin. It was a last minute thought. And summer school is beneficial for school districts because it can add additional revenue for the schools, and that's what we are hoping to do in Shorewood, to bring in that additional revenue, which will help, as we all know, in our budget cuts times. This summer, it's the second year for the summer enrichment program, and we doubled the amount of classes offered. So when you look into the bulletin, we've still organized it by weeks. So if you turn to any page where you see weeks, you're going to see a list of programs that are offered. And what you want to do is you're going to see the grade that's listed. And we believe in the rec department is that it's the grade that your child's going to go into in the fall, because they're done with like 7th grade. They want to be 8th graders now and known for 8th grade. So when you look in those charts, you want to look to see your child's grade into the fall, and wherever you see a check mark in those boxes, that is the class that we're going to offer for that grade level. This year, what we've done is we've combined recreation and summer school classes all into the weekly chart, so that when you're planning your activities for any age of your children, you know exactly what is occurring each week at each hour, so that you can coordinate your calendar at home. Wherever you see a green line, that means it's a summer school class. And summer school, and we hope that you will enroll in those type of classes also, besides the recreation department programs. But summer school is real important. If you do sign up, you're going to notice that it's a very nominal fee. Some classes, or the majority of the classes, are $0 to a little bit of fee for some supply costs. In summer school, our Department of Public Instruction states that you cannot charge for summer school. You can only charge for your consumable supplies. So for instance, that's why you see a nominal fee associated. So we can't pay a salary. That has to come out of what's called a Fund 10 balance, or supply costs. So for summer school though, if you sign up for summer school classes, it's real important that you send your children to summer school. And the only reason, even though it's a nominal fee or $0 cost, is that the district is able to count those children in our third Friday count. So your attendance in summer school, if you do enroll your children, is real important, because we have to take all that attendance from the summer and we have to enter it, actually the business office does, enter it into a formula, and then that can bring back revenue, and it's a 3-year rolling average. So it's a benefit for your children to enroll in summer school courses, because in the future, that's going to only assist in bringing revenue for the district for that. Now, we've also added, and Mr. Joyce here, is we're pretty excited. We had some high school teachers come forward and add some new high school classes. So if you have high school age, you're going into the 9th grade, please take a look, because we have intro to business, ethics, leadership classes, we have Shakespeare, we have a drama program, we have tune-up for AP Calculus if you have an older student that's going to go into that in the fall. So we're real excited about that as well. Teen volunteers. We're always looking, and this is a wonderful opportunity for your children to become volunteers prior to getting, their first job. This is a good opportunity to get that responsibility, dependability, get exposure to kids if they're interested in that as well. We've extended the deadline, so Wednesdays. So if you have a student at home, a child at home that's interested, please take a form and turn it in for that. Also on your table is Mr. Van Zens and the boys basketball coach John Hotch have combined to do a really neat program offering for the kids for basketball season. We've run a basketball league where it's a sandlot type play where the kids just come and play basketball twice a week. And then the coach has always done a sports camp. What we're offering this summer is if your child signs up for both the basketball league as well as the basketball camp, you get 50% off your basketball camp enrollment. So that's another option for you for reduced fees. And what he's hoping to do is encourage those kids to play basketball all year, all summer long for that as well. Other program offerings, if you have any high school students, they're always welcome to sign up as adult programs. So your high school kids are considered adults for that. You're going to find that we have programs starting basically 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, going basically till about 5:30 and sometimes even later, depending on what that class offering is. Weekends we don't have much because we found out that Shorewood residents tend to vacate Shorewood and don't spend a lot of time recreating in Shorewood over the summer months for that. But Kelly is doing, and I'll plug the people that are here that are teaching, Kelly is doing a wonderful class. For the first time she offered a science of food class for that middle school age into high school years, a science of food class. And it was a fabulous opportunity last year where the kids learn about food. They take field trips, but then they also apply it to science. What's involved in dairy and how ice cream is made. And she really kind of, I don't know if you want to say anything. I can't do your program justice.
So the first day we cooked and learned about how it worked, and then the second day we took a field trip to see how the pros do it.
Yeah.
So we learned how grocery stores are set up and the difference between ice cream and custard, and a very scientific case test. Harry's gave us a tour of their whole kitchen, and their sous chef spent an hour and a half answering kids' questions about what it's like to be a chef. It's really cool if your kids like science or food.
It's a fabulous, I mean, at the end, we even had parents of the kids coming because the kids would come home and say, what a fabulous class this was, and the parents ended up coming just to be chaperones, just to observe what a wonderful opportunity was. So please consider that as well. Bill Howery's doing a running class as well. That's always popular each summer. The youth running opportunities as well as Dom Newman's preseason for cross country. That's a real popular, both of those classes are real popular. So if your children are into running opportunities, that's bright and early in the morning for that. We'll have the fitness center opened here at the middle school during the day for the children that want to participate in strength training, cardio, free weights, as well as that. Soam Joan is offering for elementary kids origami and math. The idea of making origami and how that relates to math skills as an opportunity too for that. And I think I caught everybody here. But any questions on summer, please consider looking through this. If you have questions on how you structure things or how it looks, what we've tried to do too, if you've been involved in our program, if you have the younger kids, we have the kids club in the afternoon. It's a afternoon playground, and we do childcare basically from 7 a.m. to 5:30. It's called Home Base in the morning in the kids club. This summer we're concerned too with economic times and things like that. So in the book you're going to notice that for kids club you don't have to sign up, or Home Base you don't have to sign up for Monday through Friday like you have done in the past with your kids. You can pick and choose your days. Now what we found is it's a little bit of a scheduling nightmare. It takes more time for us to enter the database, and then staffing as well. You know, instead of knowing that we're going to hire 8 high school kids, for instance, Monday through Friday, because it's going to be consistently 50 kids, now we may have 50 kids on Monday, Tuesday's going to be 70, you know, Thursday's gonna be 20, so we're gonna pick and choose and let parents decide what they wanna do. So we're kind of excited about that opportunity, because we're giving parents that opportunity and children that opportunity to decide what they wanna do instead of a whole full week of kids club. They can pick and choose if they only wanna come swimming on Tuesday with us. So we're excited about that as well. So, questions for you that I can answer about summer school, enrichment, recreation programs? Lots to offer. We've really expanded the programming. Lots of sports camps, arts programs. Cake decorating, it's back this year for those that have had children go through it before. Those are filling fast if you have children involved in that before.
When is gymnastics going?
As soon as we get the North Gym back. For those that have been involved in our gymnastics program, we haven't had it for a whole year because we haven't had the facility, because the physical education building at the high school has been being remodeled. So it'll be back in the fall. In the fall. The physical education building will reopen in August. Also, just a heads up, at the high school this summer, it's going to be a little bit hectic with all the construction occurring. The physical education building is still under construction. We're going to find out for sure, unless my peers know, about the high school parking lot may be under construction this summer. It will be. Oh yeah, that's true, the wall. The administration building where I'm located, the rec department's located, Mr. Joint's office is located, that is going to be remodeled this summer. So the big joke is you may find the recreation department in the parking lot without a 24-hour notice. So we're going to have to be kind of flexible because we're going to get a new library at the high school that's going to be remodeled and things like that. So we're excited about those possibilities for the administration building. It needs some TLC, the high school does. So good question, though. Thank you. Good, thanks. Thank you.
Next we have Marcy.
Hi, I'm the counselor here at Shorewood Intermediate School. And first, let me ask a question. How many of you know what your children are going to be doing this summer? So pretty many of you, then I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because what I had to go through was what was in the messenger, and if you need a copy of activities that I have listed, that'll be on the table right here. But the biggest,
You're on TV.
okay, great. So I have some college for teens from UWM. I would imagine that by now a lot of these classes are already filled. But for those of you who don't know what your children are doing, you may want to look into this great programs in here. Marquette has a reading program that maybe some of you may want to look into. Summer camp, a science outreach. And then anything, there's foreign language programs listed on here. That all these programs were in the messenger, I think, back in April. So there are lots of opportunities for you to see. I'm not going to go through all the opportunities, but that's one area you can look into. What I really want to talk about is how to keep your children safe over the summer, because summer is a really it's a time when kids really want to experiment and they really want to try new things, and they have a lot of freedom over the summer. And I like to compare adolescents to toddlers because they're searching for their independence. They're trying to figure out who they are. And my main point that I want to make tonight is that you network with parents, and that you are constantly on the phone calling parents to make sure that they're going to be home at the home where your children are going to, because where they're going to get into trouble is where they're going is unsupervised. There's no adult around. And that's something to be concerned about. And I do have some points to start the discussion. I have a little comment too. So, and here's another. Handouts. Take both handouts. I love handouts. I'm very visual. So, the cartoon is from Zitz, and if you read the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and it's about the boy who is he's in trouble for something. He gets in trouble with the car, and I'll let you read the cartoon because then we're going to move on to how to set consequences and how to start the discussion with your child about consequences and rules for the summer. I just thought it was very apropos to kids. Kids don't always know what the consequences are. They don't always know what is expected of them, and therefore you need to have that conversation. The yellow sheet is a good starting point. It's a good icebreaker for having that conversation because I know many parents think, okay, my kid is 13, I can leave them at home for a while. Well, sometimes they don't always know what they can do at home. They don't know what they can do with the freedom that they have. And this can be a good starting discussion. What can I use when no adult is at home? Because some of those things can be dangerous. And actually, a parent gave me that. And I thought that that was a really good thing to pass on to you guys. So it's a good beginning point for discussion about what they can do and what they can't do. I recommend when you sit down with your child and you go through the rules that you talk about the consequences and what they think is fair and what they think are fair rules, so they can have some buy-in into this and they can know and understand what is expected of them. And I know that Kelly wants to get started, and I don't want to, okay, you're okay?
No, I'm just taping you.
Okay. I think a really important point is to sit down, go over the rules, talk to parents, talk about what your expectations are, and work out the rules together. And in that way, they have a full understanding, and you won't get into the problem with this kid. But I didn't think it was going to be punitive. So they know what to expect and what you need to do. And I know that sometimes it's hard calling parents that you don't know, but when your child says he's going to Johnny's house, it's important to ask some crucial questions, and they can be difficult. Sometimes you may need to ask, are you going to be home? And you want your child to be supervised, especially if there's a large group of people, of kids coming to your house. It's important that you know that the parent is going to be home. And you can ask questions like, what time would you like me to pick up my child? What time would you like me to drop my child off? Who's going to be there? Ask how they feel about alcohol. There are parents who want their kids to go to a house, and parents, some say it's okay if there's alcohol there. If it's not okay with you, you need to tell that parent that's not okay. I remember when my daughter was a freshman, it was homecoming, and I made a very difficult call. I had no idea who this parent was that my child was going to after homecoming. And I introduced myself, and I said, are you going to be home? The parent said, yes, I'm going to be home. How many children are you expecting? Oh, we're not going to let any more than 20. And sure enough, a whole group of kids came, like 50 kids, and I told my daughter that if you're uncomfortable there, you call me. Just say you're sick. Make something up. And I said, but I did talk to the parent, and I did not ask a question. I did not say, well, how do you feel if someone brings alcohol? I didn't ask that question. I was naive. I thought, okay, the parents are going to be home. I'm safe. There was alcohol at that house, and that parent was home supervising the kids. So my daughter calls at 11 o'clock. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's the matter? What happened? And she said, I'm not feeling well. So she knew that I wouldn't ask any questions because we had that policy. If you call and you say you're sick, I will come and get you, and I won't ask any questions. she called, thank goodness, and she did tell me that people had brought in alcohol in water bottles. So, you know, it's scary business being a parent. And you have to ask the questions, and if you do have a group of kids over and they're in the basement, make yourself known. Bring down soda, bring down potato chips, bring down anything so you know what's going on down there.
Potato chips in small bowls, so it has to be refilled often.
You know,
Thought you might need more. No, I'll take the bag back up.
You want to be a nuisance to them, so they know that you're around, and it's not always easy to do. And they are going to fight you on it, but that's what adolescents do. They fight you on things like that. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay if they have tantrums and run to their room and slam the door. It's okay. You're not their friend. As in my newsletter, I have a copy of that too. My last newsletter. And in bold, I have, assert your authority. You are the parent. You are the parent. You're not their friend. And I think it's important to remember that you have a lot of influence. Your children look up to you. They admire you. They want to do what they, most of the time, they want to do what they don't want to make you unhappy. And a lot of times they will fight you, but they need boundaries, and they want the boundaries. And a lot of times they sense when something is not going to go well, if they're going to go to a party and it's not going to go well, they can sense that. So be the bad guy. Say no, you're not going to let them go. You're not, you can be the bad guy. You are the parent. It's okay to be the bad guy. It's okay if they go up to their room and slam the door. And another thing is that I know in this day of cell phones, it's really hard to keep track of your child because they're using the cell phone. They could say that they're going to Jamie's house, but they're really going to Robbie's house, and you didn't really want them to be at Robbie's house. So one thing I recommend is that they call you from the house that they're at, so you can see the caller ID, so you know that they are at that house. Otherwise, you really don't know where they are. And I know that in Shorewood, kids travel from house to house to house. And if you want, I would make it a rule that they need to call you from each person's house, from that hard line, so you know that they're there. So you can call, and you can make that phone call, and you can see that they are at that house, or they should call you and let you know on the caller ID rather than the cell phone, because you don't really know where they are when they use that cell phone. So, you know, it's hard parenting kids these days. Very hard, yes.
An integrated health teacher informed me this morning, and I don't know who I'm doing a commercial for at this point, but that now all cell phones have GPS in them. There's a service that you can use where you can track the cell phone of phone numbers that you have certain.
So you know where your child is.
So you know where your child is.
You know where your child is.
Yeah, you response to this. I mean, you're paying for the phone initially, so you can hook it up on this. Allegedly, you can track people with the GPS that you put their phone numbers in for. And then he also said, and again, I don't know who I'm doing a commercial for, that there's a function on there that you can automatically just start speaking through the speakerphone on that phone you're tracking. Allegedly, if the phone is off, the microphone portion will still work. Again, I have not verified, I'm not sure I want to, but it's an option out there.
I don't have that on mine, but it is spring, I'll tell you that, but we have this family location services, it's a nice thing they give you. Where are you? And it is very nice, it's only $5 a month, and I do have it, and now we only use it in case of emergency, because we establish trust, which I discovered I couldn't tell which house he was at. And if he said, it's very, I mean, it's very accurate.
And so you can get it by house.
Oh, yeah, you can
Yeah.
go back most of the time within like 50 yards. And it's all
Wow.
I can, have bird's eye view, aerial view. It's great. Family location.
Just don't forget, it only tells you where the phone is.
Yeah.
No, I'm just,
Right. And the school psychologist at both intermediate and high school, Arthur Anderson, says, always trust but verify. So there's your green light on going ahead and paying $5 a month.
Yeah, so if I can leave you with one thing, network with parents, network and just talk to the parents of your children's friends and make sure that the rules, that parents understand what your rules are and your children understand, most importantly, the children understand what your rules are. And you can make up the rules together as you go along, and if you explain the rules to them, they're likely to understand why you have these rules. I always told my children that a curfew is a curfew. 11 o'clock is 11 o'clock. If you're going to be any later, you need to call me because I worry an awful lot. So, if they understood, oh, Mom really is a worry wart, I better call her. And they understood that I worry a lot, give me a call. Another thing is be awake when they come home so you can see how they're acting, see what they look like, see, just make sure they're okay when they walk in that door. And, ask them what kind of night they had and who they were with. And be awake when they walk in. That's important. Very important. Any questions? Discussion points?
Those tricky kids, yes.